Well, we're live. I'm in Bangkok. You're in London. Fresh
I
from
am
the
indeed.
field.
Yes.
You've been doing a first day of coaching with two absolute newbies to the game.
That is
And yeah, I
correct.
just wanted to do this live stream just to document how it's been. So I'll hand the floor over to you as the person who's been coaching them today. How was the first day?
You know what? It went really, really well. I know they were nervous to begin with, but considering the 3 hours that we've just done on the street, I could honestly say, like, I'm knackered. I know those guys are going to be absolutely knackered as well, but they did a fantastic down. Maybe what's even best is like, I'll walk you through how the session went, or just the play by play with it. So I got there early, and actually, what I really liked was they were there early too. Very rarely do you kind of see guys on their first day doing cold approaching that they are there early. I mean, usually the fear and the anxiety kicks in that they tend to turn up like 5, 10, 20 minutes late, and then give all sorts of excuses up the book when realistically they were just super nervous and that they just didn't want to hit the street knowing that the realism was going to kick in. But they got there nice and early. So I was getting all my stuff out, my camera gear, because today was about filming them, filming their approaches and just seeing where they're at, and then just giving them feedback along the way, as well as they just had that visual feedback and proof of just where they're at the moment. Like, what level are they at? Like, what social skills do they have for them to be able to see? And then when it comes to giving them the feedback afterwards, then, absolutely, I can critique them, you can critique them, and even they'll be able to watch each other's footage and then see how each other did. So I got the camera gear out, got it all set up, mic'd them up, and for the first 10, 15 minutes, I said to them, I said, right, guys, I'm going to be really, we're going to make the things interesting, just for the first 2 or 3 approaches for each of you, I want to see how you do on your own without me giving you any feedback, criticism, or coaching. And what I like with this is that it actually does elicit fear and anxiety, and I kind of want that. Because the more anxiety that I can get out in someone, and the more I've actually got to work with, and the more I can coach them out of how they're feeling and all of those symptoms. So they were like, I could tell they were absolutely shitting themselves when I said that, and they were like, okay, so and they were like asking questions, they're like, so you're not going to give us any feedback yet? And I said, no, no, I just want to see how you both bounce off of each other first, and how you both make your decisions with going and doing an approach. And then after that, I'm going to get an idea of what kind of feedback I can give you. I said to them that, I look at 3 particular areas. So I look at body language, I look at linguistics, and I look at the structure of content. So how they present themselves visually, how they sound when they're speaking to someone, and also just the actual conversations that they're having. Are they interesting? Are they fun and flirty and stuff? So they went walking, and my goodness, those two are like a comical duo when they're just sort of bouncing off of each other. I mean, it was quite, I must admit, like at the distance that I was at, I did have a couple of giggles at just some of the things that they were saying. It was really funny just how they were trying to motivate each other, but at the same time and simultaneously, they were sort of putting themselves down a little bit because the anxiety was there. And then if they saw a girl, they were picking for each other, someone to approach. So person number 1 was trying to help person number 2, and person number 2 was trying to help. And then they were like picking, and they were like, oh.
Oh, I think Daniel's connection may well have disappeared. Sorry about that, boys. You'll have me until Daniel returns from the brink. But yeah, just for context, Daniel has been coaching 2 complete beginners today in London. So it's been a joint coaching session. So two guys who they've known each other for a long time, best friends, and they got in contact with me last week, and they were like, "Hey, Christian,
Oh, there we go.
um,
Is it-
oh, you back? Yeah, your connection's a bit wobbly." Yeah, I'm not sure what your connection's saying, but it's not the best. Anyway, so yeah, the two guys got in contact with me last week, and they were like, "Hey, Christian, like we'd really love to do a joint coaching session with you." So essentially, I linked them up with Daniel in London, and Daniel is currently taking them through a 4-day immersion in London, and they're doing it together, which I think is really cool. So fresh off the boat, they tried going out and approaching in the past, but they couldn't really see any traction with it. Too many voices, too many excuses, too many reasons not to approach. So got in contact with me. Had the first day with Daniel in London today. Had their approaches filmed. Had immediate feedback. So they've been mic'd up, waltzing around the city. And then once Daniel's connection resumes, he's going to be able to tell us more about how those approaches actually went down. I think your connection's back now.
Yeah. Am I back again? I have absolutely no idea why that disconnected. That's what I get
I
for
would
walking
say
through a field.
maybe just stay static in one place, and then there you go. Yeah, that's better. There you go.
Yeah, is that better? Okay.
Yeah,
All right. I'll just try and look cool and suave, standing
there
here
we go. There we go.
in the middle of the
Yeah,
area,
social freedom, man.
just
There we
doing the
go.
video.
Social freedom in London.
Yeah, well, I've got my phone on a tripod thing,
Oh,
so yeah,
beautiful.
I mean, I have
Get
to kind
the
of keep it
get
at a
the get the
distance.
gimbal going.
There we
But
go.
yeah,
No,
you were
that sounds better.
yeah. That's good. So yeah, like main main takeaways from the day overall, what would you say? Like for these two guys, what would be the main things that you notice that they need to improve upon for tomorrow?
Um, so definitely, I think. Um, so definitely the conviction with doing the stop. So they did a lot of approaches today. I'd say they probably did maybe around 10 to 15 approaches each in the time that we had. Um, I think definitely for one of them, getting him to just slow down with his speaking, getting him just to relax a bit more with the women that he's speaking to, getting used to the idea of giving a compliment and then just asking a very normal question. Because one of the struggles that he had was that he would deliver the opener and then say, I don't know what to say. And then because he felt very uncomfortable with that situation of not knowing what to ask next, he'd actually like eject out of the interaction like almost instantly, to the point that the girls loved the fact that he stopped them, but then going like, is that all of the conversation? Like, is that all that was going to happen? So um, he definitely just needs to have an idea of like, well, what kind of questions can he ask girls to get a conversation going? Getting him to just slow down with his speed of speech and vocal tonality, although to be fair, I think that was probably okay. Just the slowing down of his speed of speech. Um, they both definitely need to just work on their stop, so that kind of like running in front of the girl, having the conviction, having that authority to actually stop. They did do a lot of side approaches, which did actually go quite well. I mean, we went through some very busy periods on the street, so fair play to them. And in fact, when we were walking across or walking back from London Bridge to Monument, there was just literally like crowds of people walking our way, and one of them, like literally, as soon as I point, like go and talk to the girl, he went for it. So I have huge admiration for him doing that. And in fact, they both did it on a very busy bridge. And they were both saying afterwards that just the social freedom that they got from that, they felt very liberated. So that was good. But yeah, I think just the conviction with going in front, doing a stop, that is something absolutely we'll be able to work on properly, especially when I haven't got my camera gear with me. and then I won't give them any benefit of the doubt to try and avoid talking to girls, which actually is another thing. They did try and look for reasons to not talk to women, whether it was pretending that they didn't notice the girl, which is a very common one that a lot of guys do. And I must admit, bless him, it did make me laugh afterwards. That I sort of said like, "Oh, there's a girl over there. Go and talk to her." And then he just sort of stood there and this is like, so I'm sure he's watching this. I do apologise, but I had to point that out. I did notice that a couple of times during our session. So there was that. Definitely that he needs to do, or both of them. But yeah, one of them, yeah, took to it like water. But I think, yeah, tomorrow, I know I'm going round in circles because I'm tired, but I think tomorrow what we'll work on is just the actual stop itself. I'm going to just literally get them almost ricocheting from girls to girl, just getting them to really get desensitized to actually stopping. And hopefully, by going more central, if we have even more foot traffic, or there might be girls that they definitely spot and they're like, holy shit, that's my type, then I'm going to 100% be able to walk with them up to that point that they go and then talk to the girls. And because I'll have the microphone gear with me again, then yeah, we'll be able to, I'll be able to listen into every single one of their interactions and give them feedback. But yeah, the stop, slowing down with the speed of speech, and also just having an idea of other things that they can talk about after they've stopped and given the compliment, so they can have a conversation and then hopefully get a phone number.
Yeah, and I think this is why it is so essential to just get this feedback ASAP. Like, obviously, they spent 3 hours with you today, and it's like those 3 hours are probably worth about 3 years on their own. If they go out, they try it with no feedback, no support, no accountability. Not only are they going to be able to watch themselves back, but they're also getting instant feedback from you as well. And I know because I started filming with you like over 4 years ago now, one of the major reasons why I was able to get so good so fast was because I could actually see myself back. Like, you don't know what you don't know with this stuff. And I think that,
Yeah.
like, speaking too fast, everybody does it. Like, we all do it, but we actually are not even aware of it. Like, until you actually listen to yourself back, or you get somebody else who knows what they're doing to listen to you back, it's like you just don't know. So I think definitely slowing down. I think that'll come. I think that'll get easier with reps. I think that's usually the case for most people. So the more of these approaches you do, the more
Yeah,
comfortable you
I've
get in
said to
those
them they'll find their
conversations.
rhythm with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. What do you think? Let's say there's a guy watching this and he's in a very similar position and he wants to get started. Let's say he wants to go out into his city centre tomorrow and just give this a go. After your day with these two beginners, what do you think is like a practical blueprint for that guy who wants to get started? Maybe he's got a lot of anxiety, a lot of resistance. What could that guy do just to start getting those first points on the board?
Okay, well, first thing first is I would say just being out the house is always a great start. If you're someone who um, maybe you're just not used to going out in public a lot, I mean, I know that can be a very socially anxious thing, just being in a different environment that you're used to. So just get comfortable with that first. Just walk around, just look at things. Um, think about the people that you notice. Um, think about, like, if you were to go and speak to them, ask them a question, what would you ask them? What would you be curious about? What could you start a conversation with them with? And in fact, this was something actually with the guys today, um, that I got them to just start with a compliment and then be curious and ask a question about the girls that you have a genuine interest in. And one of the exercises we did, which, even with this example as well, I would be saying to guys, like, just walk down the street and creatively and improv on the spot. What would you say to people? And walk down the street as you're doing it. So like, there's a girl who's in like leggings and headphones and a hoodie right now walking by. I would say she's probably just come back from the gym. So if I were to speak to her and say, look, I thought you were really cute, I'm curious, have you just gone to the gym or are you going to the gym? Very, very simple assumption to make. And then that would just get a conversation going. And then we'd probably talk about like maybe gym stuff. So I quite like that as an exercise, just kind of like assumption stacking, but just more as a guess thing before you even do anything. And when you can just get comfortable with that creativity, give it a go just doing an approach with someone. Um, the technique that I gave to the guys, which worked wonders for them, was instead of like trying to think of the technicality of like what angle do I go in to speak to someone, where should my hand be, where should my eye contact be, instead imagine that that person has dropped their wallet or their keys or purse or something really important, and imagine it's life or death that you get that item back to them. How are you going to stop them? And I got them to demo it on me and on each other, and lo and behold, they had no problems then stopping the girls. So if you're unsure even how to do the stop, drop a pair of keys on the floor or drop an empty wallet, hopefully something that no one else is going to pick up and run away with your credit and debit cards and cash and stuff. But experience it. Imagine someone has dropped, pick it up and go and run over to them. What kind of conviction would you have as you're doing that? And you'll find that everything just kind of falls into place. You're not thinking about, again, all this technicality stuff. You are literally going over, stopping someone with authority to give them a compliment. And then as for the actual compliment itself, yes, you can, as a beginner, you can give a very surface level thing. You can say, you look really nice, or you look good, you look great today, you look amazing, whatever. But if you really want to take it that step up, or you want to genuinely work on that improv side of things or that creativity, think about and even then say to the girl, what specifically with that compliment you've noticed, and go into detail about it. So I gave an example to the guys, something like, um, okay, I'll use a cheesy example, one that right at the end I did say, just to give an idea of an out there compliment you could give someone. You walked up past a girl, and let's say she had like a really cute freckle on her face, and you went back and you gave her a compliment, said, look, besides her style and her looking good, say, you know what, you thought that she had the most cutest freckle on her face, and although it's the most strangest thing to be complimenting a stranger about a freckle, just say there was something about it that just kind of made you feel good, and you wanted to tell her that you weren't expecting anything out of it except for just her reaction, and she would love it. Just something very specific. And even using the example of fashion, like when you say to someone, look, you look really good, or I really like your style, what about their style is it that you really like? Because it's a cop-out if you're just sort of saying to someone like, oh yeah, you look really good. I mean, you could say that 100 times to people, and then maybe one out of those 100, they might be like absolutely blown away by that compliment. But you could have missed out on a huge chunk of people where if you'd have said something more specific, like, that you really like that rock and roll look, like, and you wonder if maybe they took that inspiration from AC/DC or something. Or maybe you like someone's fashion, and you reckon maybe that they work in modeling or something like that. Whatever it is, that then you could be a bit more specific on, that could lead you to even asking a really solid question just to get a conversation going. I think then that's next step, and I wouldn't probably expect any more from a beginner from that, but as like a first day thing, just getting out of the house, getting used to being in a public space, making observations of people and how they're dressed or how they're looking, and even thinking about if the statement or the rhetorical question of, if I were to go over to them and give them a compliment, what would I give them a compliment about? And if I were to ask them a question, what could I ask them a question about? And that would be that. And if someone can do that and then wish someone like a really good day, or tell them they look great, have a nice day or whatever, that is it. For day one, brilliant. I would say treat yourself to some like really fancy dinner, a night out, cinema, whatever. Treat yourself. If you can do that from nothing, I don't think there's anything better a guy can do it in the world, except feel really proud of themselves in that moment.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Like first day out there, it's probably one of the hardest things that you're ever gonna do. I think as a modern day man, just because it's so easy to sink in the comfort quicksand of the modern world where everything is super easy. So I think that even if you've just left the house with the intention of just doing one, maybe you bottle it, maybe you don't do any on that day when you said you were gonna do it. But I do think there is power in intention. I think just going out with the intention to do something like this, I do respect any individual who's actually got the balls to at least try. And I do think if you're completely new to it and you've got nobody who's helping you at the moment, I just think giving yourself a time limit to just do that first one. Like, okay, I'm going to go out for 30 minutes. I'm going to give myself 30 minutes to just do one. And if I don't do one, I'm going to get on with the rest of my day rather than walking around for hours and hours and hours, which is what these guys did actually before they got in contact with us. They went out, they tried it, they're out there for about 3 hours, didn't talk to anybody, and then I think it was like during the final
Well,
five
actually, it was
minutes.
longer. It was about 5 hours.
Wow.
They'd walked around for about 5 hours. I think they only did like a handful of approaches, like ones that you could count on one hand. Um, and then they'd kind of just realised very quickly, and I'm glad that they did, that they needed that extra support. And then, of course, they reached out to you.
Yeah, and I think because these are high achieving guys as well, like they've got busy jobs, they live in hectic lifestyles, they're making good money. They don't have the time to be pissing away 5 hours. That's a lot of time. Like even if you do have time off work, like we've got more important things to do. So my whole philosophy with this is efficiency. Go hard and go home. Get as much coaching as you need so you can master the skill set in the fastest possible time, then you're not wasting 5, 10 hours, 15 hours of your week talking to nobody. So I think that's where the coaching element is essential. And I can say that with certainty because I've been getting coached for the past 4 years. So it's just, yeah, for me, it's this whole process is a rite of passage. And I think that if you're surrounding yourself with people who are better than you and who can push you, I think that push today has been essential for the guys. I know that you're going to be pushing them more tomorrow. I would say that you're probably going to find that you're just going to be pushing them like a lot tomorrow because they just need a lot more reps, especially when it comes to that stop. Because I know how scary it is. Like when you first, it's like you can't go halfway with half a heart, right? Because it only digs a deeper grave. So it's like if you are going to stop somebody in such a bold manner, you can't be apologetic about it. You have to literally just go all in with it. So I think tomorrow, having that emphasis on the stop itself, even if that's just repping out the stop like 20, 25 times, just to get them to that point where they can experience success in advance. And whenever they see somebody who interests them, they know with absolute certainty they can get that person to stop. So I think that's really going to be important tomorrow is just getting that stop nailed down. So I think once you've got the stop nailed down, the rest of the conversation starts to take care of itself more.
No, 100%. And the thing that I found today was that there really was only so much I was going to be able to do with all my camera gear. I was also holding one of the guys' bags anyway, so it kind of meant I was playing a little bit of Buckaroo, so there was only so much like running around I could do before otherwise I was going to probably like accidentally drop stuff. But definitely tomorrow, Mo. Definitely tomorrow. I know I'm tired when I start slurring over my own words. My plan tomorrow with them is absolutely just to get those reps in. I knew just from like the first 10, 15 minutes after watching them, try and bounce off each other and trying to do stuff without any coaching as of yet. It really did give me an understanding of just where they're at. And I knew that even today, even with filming them, with doing the approaching, I was only going to push them so far, and that there wasn't any point me trying to say to them like, okay, right now I'm going to get you to have full-blown conversations, try and get
Yeah.
phone numbers, try and get instant dates. it just would have been way too much too quickly. So getting them just to focus on just that stepping stone of like, right, just stopping a girl, giving a compliment, and then wishing them the best. Yeah, gave them that taster today, and tomorrow we're just going to push that even further. And as soon as I feel that they are ready for that next step, I will start giving them the extra feedback and coaching of like, okay, now I'm going to give you guys this challenge, and I want you to try and incorporate this in your conversation, or incorporate this kind of like directness and asking for a phone number and stuff. Um, but yeah, ideally, next step is just to get them to start having actual conversations and just pushing what we did today, ramping that number up to probably like 1,000, and just literally getting in the reps. So hopefully tomorrow they'll be saying that they've done maybe like 20 or 30 approaches each in those 3 hours. We tried to play it today as like taking turns with them, although certainly in the latter half, one of them just got really good at just making the decision and going as soon as I pointed. So it did mean, I think, attention was sort of leaning one way a little bit. So I always want to try and balance it, especially if I am working with two people. But I think they're both very, very fortunate that they are best friends. They've got that support and encouragement with each other, as well as I'm actually going to, I think, gamify some of the approaches for them. So I'm going to set challenges for them to complete, and said to them, like, you know what, whoever wins, the loser's going to have to buy drinks for the other person that night or something if they go out. So
Nice.
yeah,
That's
I'm
good.
going to make it certainly more fun and interesting. I like the idea of gamifying things, make things a competition. I think it makes learning so much more interesting, and also I think people absorb the learning experience more if there's some kind of like game involved, excluding pickup as a game, but an actual game involved. I think it does the world of difference. So I will probably bring in maybe a bit of social freedom stuff. I tend to do very like mild things, but just some stuff that might make them feel a little bit more silly. Break the ice just that little bit more for them. Get them to relax more in the conversations, and then yeah, we'll take it from there. But yeah, main thing tomorrow is just getting the reps in, getting them more comfortable with what we did today, and I can't see any reason why at the end of the week they can't at least start having conversations and hopefully getting phone numbers, especially if they put the hard work in. And I even said to them actually after we finished the session, look guys, if you've got like a spare hour, carry on practicing together. And I think they did. I think they did for about half an hour or so. So hopefully we'll be able to check the WhatsApp group and find out after the call. But even if they just did one more approach each without me there, I'm going to still even count that as a win, as a really good win, because they've taken my feedback and they gave it a go on their own as well, without anyone supporting them.
That's huge. That's huge. Like, look, if you can do that on day one, as far as I'm concerned, you're already ahead of 99% of guys. You really are. Like, if you can do a coaching session and then just take the initiative to be like, all right, let's just go, let's just do one without Daniel being there, boys. Like, you're already cracking it. And also, I think the important thing as well is like, even though they're going around with you, you're not like some ventriloquist with your hand up their ass doing all the speaking for them. It's like they're the ones who are putting themselves in there. Like, yeah, they might have a push, they might have that accountability, but they still need to make the decision to go in there. So I think that needs to be understood as well. Even though they're getting coached by you, even though you're holding their hand through the process, it's still them who are going into the approaches, and that's so important. So I think that gamification element, I think men respond really well to that. It's that healthy male competition. I think if guys are listening to this and they've got a wing who they're going around with, then gamify it more. Just see who can do more approaches. And it's like the loser has to, like you say, buy the drinks during the night or some other forfeit.
Yeah,
You have to.
or if someone doesn't do an approach, then they've got to do 10 press ups on the street. And if you
Beautiful.
keep doing that, then you've got to do another 10 press ups on top of it until it becomes 20 or 30.
Yeah.
And even that becomes a nice distraction from it. Or one of the things that I used to do with my wings back in the day is that we used to go to different areas in London and almost have a bit of a race with going through locations, and we'd call it day game Monopoly, and you couldn't move to the next area until you did an approach and either got a number or had a conversation, whatever. And we kind of like work in teams, and you get points for how well you did. Um, but gamifying it, I really think makes a massive difference to remembering that when you're coming out and doing this, that it doesn't have to be serious. That you're doing this because you want to have fun, and you want to be meeting women that you can have that kind of fun with. If you're kind of coming out with this like strategic intention, that's all you're going to get. And in fact, you're going to just find that you're just going to have a losing battle, because your conversations are then designed for just an outcome of like just trying to sleep with her. And most girls that you'll meet, unless you're giving off that vibe and they feel it and they want that, or it's reciprocated, 99% of the time you're not really going to get any kind of result from it. You're just going to be shooting yourself in the foot. So the best thing you can do is going out, have fun, have good interactions with people. I'm also just getting like bikes, riding, but I picked a spot here. I don't know if you can see, like I really picked a spot.
Oh, nice. You got some fans. The fans are showing up, man.
It's got girls going by, but like I'm like petrified, like one of them's going to like run into me. But there you go. But no, gamifying, I think doing approaching is great, and like I've got other quirky things that I'd love to kind of give them. Like one of the things that I've given to other clients in the past is I've set like a challenge of like, if you see a girl that looks like a celebrity, you need to go up to them and you need to try and get a photo with them, and if you do, you get a point. And when you've got that kind of competition with like other guys you're going out with, and you've got a reason to go and stop girls and saying like, excuse me, like I thought you were really cute, like you kind of look like this celebrity. And I've got this challenge going on with my friends where whoever gets the most photos of them with doppelganger celebrities, then they get treated for drinks the entire night. So can I get a photo with you? And it makes it really playful. And then you could probably even say like, oh, you know what? If I win, you can come out with me. We can celebrate my win by going on a date with a doppelganger and stuff. I mean, you can play it however you want. I mean, I'm riffing on the spot, but again, just gamifying it, I think, does wonders for stuff. And I think with the two of those guys, I think gamifying some of the experiences. I think they'll thoroughly enjoy it, and I think they'll also accelerate their speed with their results even faster.
Yeah, I completely concur with that. I think it's a process with all this stuff. When you first start, you're shitting it, and when someone's like, "Oh, do start having fun with it," you're like, "Oh, fuck you, bro! I've got so much anxiety below." But that is the way for this to be played. Like, you do want to play it from a place of, let's just have fun, let's socialize with the world. It's not a scary place. Perception is reality. So I think that is a solid first day. I think the gamification element, I think pushing them into as many approaches as possible, really focusing on the stop, those first 3 seconds, having that full conviction going in there. And if you are completely new to all of this stuff, just set yourself the intention one day this week to just do one. Just do one in 30 minutes. And like Daniel said, a big win for you might just be getting out of the house with the intention of doing one approach. That might be your win of the week. It might just be going out with the intention. Maybe you see like a middle-aged lady or an old lady at the bus stop. You can just be like, "Hey, you look great. Have a good day. Bye." That could be it. That could be your massive win. And then that's going to open the floodgates to more experiences and successes. So I think, celebrate your wins along the way. If you've got a win you can go out with, start gamifying it, have fun with it. It's not a big deal. Like, one day we're all gonna die. It's space dust and ashes. But we'll do more of these. If you want to do one every day after you finish, that's great. Just like documenting as we go, because I think it's important for guys just to kind of get an insider look on what the coaching's actually like, the results that guys are getting, how they're actually feeling in themselves once they've finished. So we can do these after each session that you do with the guys. I'll let you go now because I know that you are fatigued and you need something to eat.
I am tired. It takes a lot out of me. People forget, like, when I walk around with camera gear, it is a workout. I mean, my camera gear still weighs a good like 10 kilograms with everything. Or no, that's probably an exaggeration. It's still like 5 or 6, you know. And after you've done like half a marathon's worth of steps in London, and I haven't had food for a little while as well. So yeah, I need to recuperate my energy and get that back.
Yeah, your neck's gonna be massive, man. You're gonna be doing them neck curls with that camera wrapped around your neck. You're gonna have like a massive neck and like a tiny body.
Either that, I'm going to look like a giraffe with me just sort of like having terrible posture for long periods of day. But no, I mean I enjoy it, and yeah, I mean it was a really really good day. But I'm looking forward to tomorrow when I haven't got the camera gear. I'm not walking around with any extras. I can literally walk at the same pace as the guys. I can walk with them, support them. If there's any moments where they are hesitant about going to approach a girl, this time round I'll actually be able to walk with them. Whereas, yeah, the only thing with the camera stuff, because I want to try and keep my distance, yeah, there is that extra struggle there. But to get the footage of them was great. So, no, it'd be great to definitely go over how they do each day. I'm pretty confident they'll absolutely keep on improving each day anyway. They took it really, really well with the advice and feedback that I gave them today. And definitely once you've watched their infields and you give them your feedback, I'm able to then sit down and actually watch everything as well. And I'll have feedback ready for them tomorrow or at the start of the session tomorrow. I think we're starting at 12, so I think we're doing 12 till 3. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and just seeing how far I can definitely push them and push their creativity and improv with the conversations.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, for anybody who is interested in undergoing a similar experience, there's a link below if you want to work with us. And just for full transparency, the filming that we're doing is for private use, so you're not going to see yourself plastered on YouTube. It's for our private use, just so we can actually pinpoint people's blind spots. Like I said before, being able to watch yourself back from a third person perspective, there's nothing else like it. Like you'll make progress fast because it's most likely going to shock you at how bad that you actually are. That's what happened
Yeah.
to me
Well, you
four
get to
years
see
ago.
what the whole world gets to see, and I think that's probably the biggest surprise for people when they see the bad habits and mannerisms that they got, and then they're like, "Holy shit! Is that what I'm like when I'm out in public? Or do I really do that with my hands? You know, it changes your life in ways that I think so few people get to experience, which is why I love it, and I'm looking forward certainly to hearing like how the guys react, because unfortunately as we're keeping them anonymous, we can't really sort of like see what their reactions are like. But I mean, I look forward definitely to hearing their reactions to not just watching themselves on camera, but I think they're each other as well. I think that's probably going to be the biggest like culture shock that they're going to get. Like, holy shit, is that what you said when you were chatting to that girl? Like, fair play, dude. Like, yeah, that's great. So yeah, that'll be an interesting one, because I'm going to get the footage to them tonight. So you'll definitely get a copy of that tonight as well. And then yeah, and then we'll be able to have we'll have a big chat about it, I think, tomorrow.
Beautiful. No, that's amazing. We'll leave it there. Go get yourself something to eat, and we will do the whole thing again tomorrow. And yeah, big well done to you as well, because I know the coaching is so energetically depleting. But you attacked it like a true warrior. So fair fucking play to you. And yeah, second day. Let's hit it. See you tomorrow.